There is a quiet power in moments that most people miss. It's not always dramatic. It doesn't come with thunder or a crowd, but it changes everything. That moment is decision, the single most powerful force in a human life. People talk about destiny, luck, talent, and fate, but none of it holds weight without decision. Because until you decide who you are, what you will do, and what you refuse to accept, life will keep pushing you around. It will keep handing you scraps, distractions, and delays. But the moment you decide to take full ownership, everything begins to shift. This life will not wait for you, and the longer you stay on the sidelines, the more it will convince you that you belong there. You don't. You were not made to live life passively, to watch others win, to applaud success from the shadows. You were made to create, to shape, to impact. But creation begins with a choice, to decide that you are no longer okay with average, to decide that your past does not get to write your future, to decide that the pain you've been through will not be the pain that defines you, but the fuel that transforms you. Most people will never make that choice. They'll survive, but they won't live. They'll follow the script someone else handed them. They'll complain about circumstances they never took the courage to change. They'll say someday so often that it becomes a comfort zone. But someday is not a strategy, it's an illusion. And the more you chase it, the more you delay the life that could be yours right now. The world does not give you what you wish for. It gives you what you demand. And demand begins with decision. What you tolerate becomes your standard. If you tolerate negativity, distraction, laziness, small thinking, you will live a small life. If you accept fear as your default setting, you will spend years locked in invisible chains. If you keep blaming others for your outcomes, you will stay powerless. But the moment you take full responsibility, the moment you say, I am the author of my life, you take the pen back. You reclaim your power, and you stop waiting for someone to give you permission to be great. You don't need anyone to approve your dream. You don't need a crowd to validate your direction. You don't need applause to move forward. All you need is that fire in your chest, that whisper that refuses to die, that inner knowing that you were meant for more. It's not arrogance. It's awareness. You know it because you feel it. Every time you settle, a part of you aches. Every time you stay silent, something in you screams. Every time you distract yourself, deep down, you know you're running from a decision that could change your life. It's not about having all the answers. You never will. It's not about being fearless. No one is. It's about deciding to move anyway. You will never become who you were meant to be by staying where it's safe. The growth, the power, the clarity, it all lives on the other side of the decision to step forward. Whether you feel ready or not, the moment you act like your life is your responsibility, things start to align. You start attracting different thoughts, different energy, different people. Why? Because you're no longer moving from reaction, you're moving from creation. People will try to stop you, not always with malice. Sometimes it's the people who love you most who project their fear onto your vision. But remember this, no one else has to see your future, only you do. And no one else has to live your regrets, only you will. So be careful who you listen to. Most people speak from limitation, but if you've made the decision to live fully, you don't have time to internalize smallness. You have work to do. You have mountains to move. You have a legacy to build. You may not feel ready. You may not feel qualified. You may think, who am I to chase something bigger? But here's the truth, you're already worthy. The dream wouldn't be in you if it wasn't for you, but you must back it up with action. You must give your soul something to believe in. The gap between where you are and where you want to be will never close without decision. Every habit, every win, every breakthrough starts with one moment of clarity, one line in the sand, one choice to say, I will not keep living this way. And once you decide, protect that decision with everything you've got, because life will test it. The old you will try to resurrect. The familiar pain will try to drag you back, but you don't have to go back. Not one step, not 1 second. Because you've already made the most important move. You've decided to evolve. And evolution is messy. It's uncomfortable, but it's worth it. Every tear, every sacrifice, every late night and early morning, it's all building something that lasts. And one day, you'll look back and say, I'm so glad I didn't wait. I'm so glad I didn't quit. I'm so glad I decided. Don't underestimate the weight of daily decisions. The food you eat, the time you wake, the people you allow near your spirit, the content you consume, the words you speak to yourself when no one is listening. These are not small things. They are shaping you. Your destiny is not decided in one grand moment. It's carved in the thousands of choices you make when no one is watching. That's where real power lives. Not in hype, not in external validation, but in quiet, consistent, soul-level ownership. There are people who had less than you and made it more. People who were counted out and still rose. People who made a decision and never looked back. You can be one of them, not someday, not later, now. Start by asking yourself, what do I want my life to mean? What am I no longer willing to accept? Who do I need to become to live the life I know is possible? And then commit. Commit like your future depends on it, because it does. You don't have to take a massive leap. You just need to stop standing still, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can, and when your mind says you can't, remind it of what you've already survived. Remind it that strength doesn't come from ease. It comes from choosing discipline over excuses, purpose over pleasure, consistency over chaos. Let others wait, let others doubt, let others stay safe, but you decide. You rise, you choose, you shift, you move, and if you fall, you get back up. Because this is not about perfection, it's about transformation. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't just dream big, but acts boldly. Who doesn't just talk change, but lives it, breathes it, demands it. You will not find fulfillment in a comfort zone. You will not find peace in avoidance. You will not find legacy in hesitation. What you are looking for lives inside the version of you that has already made the decision to rise. That version is waiting, and it's your responsibility to meet it. Make the decision today. Make it fully. Make it deeply. Not just in your mind, but in your habits, your attitude, your energy. Stop flirting with your potential. Marry it. Stop visiting discipline. Live there. Stop waiting for a sign. This is the sign. This is the call. This is the moment. Everything after this changes if you let it. When you wake up tomorrow, decide again. When you're tired, decide again. When you're misunderstood, decide again. And keep deciding until it becomes your nature. Until people look at you and wonder how you became so focused, so driven, so free. The answer will always be the same. You decided. Not once, but every single day. Until your life became proof that decision is destiny. There is a moment in life when you realize that raw talent isn't enough. Passion isn't enough. Inspiration on its own won't take you far. These things may light the fire inside you, but they can't keep it burning. What keeps that fire alive through cold nights, setbacks, failure, and fatigue, what transforms that fire into a beacon is discipline. The quiet, consistent, unshakable commitment to show up, not once, not occasionally, but every single day. Discipline is what separates potential from power. It is the difference between a dreamer and a doer, between those who say they want it and those who actually get it. Most people start strong. They begin with excitement, with vision, with loud declarations about what they're going to do, but then the storm hits, the obstacles show up, the motivation fades, and suddenly the dream feels heavier than expected. That's where most stop. Not because they weren't capable, but because they were never committed to being disciplined. But if you can be the kind of person who keeps going when it gets hard, who shows up when it's boring, painful, or unseen, then there is nothing that can stop you. Discipline is not glamorous, it's not viral, it doesn't always come with praise, but it is sacred because every time you keep a promise to yourself, every time you do the thing you said you'd do, even when no one is watching, you build something inside you that cannot be bought or borrowed. You build self-trust, and self-trust is the foundation of all confidence, all courage, all greatness. You can't fake discipline. You can't shortcut your way to it. It is earned day by day, repetition by repetition, early mornings, late nights, choosing the difficult over the easy, choosing purpose over pleasure, choosing growth over comfort. It's the quiet battle between the version of you that wants to stay the same and the version of you that's trying to break through. Every time you win that internal war, you get stronger. Every time you silence the excuse and take action instead, you sharpen your edge. Discipline is the language of excellence, the currency of champions. It is the only true guarantee of progress. Not luck, not opportunity, not timing, but consistent effort over time. That's it. That's the secret. Show up, do the work, repeat. Even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it, because the real transformation happens not when it's easy, but when it's hard, and you keep going anyway. You see, motivation is seasonal. It comes and goes like the wind. You can't build a future on something that changes with your mood, but discipline, it's not tied to feeling, it's tied to decision. You train it like a muscle. You strengthen it like a habit. And over time, it becomes part of who you are. Not something you have to force, but something you naturally live. Because discipline isn't just something you do, it's who you become. If you want success, stop chasing intensity. Start chasing consistency. The person who works out for 15 minutes every day will outperform the person who goes hard once a month. The person who writes one paragraph every day will eventually write the book. The person who saves a little each week will build wealth. It's the slow, steady grind that builds results that last. Not the sprint, but the stride. Discipline isn't about perfection. It's not about never missing a step. It's about staying connected to your commitment, even when you fall. You'll have off days. You'll mess up. But you don't throw the whole plan away. You get back up. You realign. You return to the path. That's discipline, getting knocked down and deciding to stand up with stronger resolve. Not because it's easy, but because you know what's on the line if you don't. Every day you are either feeding your potential or starving it. There is no neutral. The habits you build are either taking you closer to your vision or pulling you further from it. What you eat, what you say, what you think, what you allow, it all matters. Your life is a reflection of what you've repeated, not what you've intended. If you want different results, build different rhythms. Make discipline your default, not a last resort. People will call it obsession. Let them. They don't see what you're building. They don't understand the vision you carry in your soul. They don't feel the weight of the future you're fighting for. You don't owe them comfort. You owe yourself the life you were born to live. And that life will not come from ease. It will come from focus, from effort, from discipline. No one is born with discipline. It's not a gift. It's a choice. And that choice is available to you right now. You don't need to feel inspired. You just need to start. Show up, even if it's ugly. Try, even if you fail. Commit, even if it's slow. Because what matters is not how perfect the path is. It's how committed you are to walking it. You might be tired. That's okay. But don't confuse tired with done. You might be discouraged. That's okay. But don't confuse discouragement with defeat. The most powerful breakthroughs come right after the breakdown. When your body is sore, your mind is heavy, and your heart is questioning, that's the threshold. That's where the weak quit and the disciplined rise. You are not weak. You've come too far to stop here. There will be days when you feel like no one sees your effort, like your work is invisible, like your progress is too slow. But just because it's not visible yet doesn't mean it's not working. Just because it's quiet doesn't mean it's not powerful. The seed grows underground before it ever breaks the surface. Your growth is happening even when you can't see it. Stay disciplined, stay patient, stay consistent. And while others are waiting for the right time, you'll be creating it. While others are distracted by trends, you'll be mastering your craft. While others are controlled by emotion, you'll be guided by principle. That's what discipline gives you: control. Control of your time, control of your energy, control of your future. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. What systems are you building? What routines are you reinforcing? You want greatness, you need structure, you want freedom, you need discipline. The more structured your habits, the freer your results. That's the paradox. True freedom is not doing whatever you want. It's having the power to do what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. This isn't about working harder just to suffer. It's about aligning your actions with your vision. It's about becoming the person who can handle the life you say you want. You want success, peace, legacy, impact. That kind of life requires a version of you that can sustain it. And that version is built one disciplined day at a time. Don't just aim for motivation. Aim for mastery. Master your mornings. Master your thoughts. Master your habits. Master your attitude when things go wrong. Because life will test you, storms will come, but discipline is your anchor. It keeps you grounded when the winds of doubt and chaos try to blow you off course. You don't need to be the most talented. You don't need to be the smartest. You just need to be the most consistent. Outwork your excuses, outlast your emotions, outperform your past, do the hard things until they become your norm. That's how you turn potential into power. That's how you stop living small. That's how you rise. The truth is, you already have what it takes. You just need to use it daily. Show up when it's inconvenient. Practice when no one is watching. Choose the long game over the shortcut. That's discipline. It's not a moment. It's a mindset. It's not a task. It's a lifestyle. And once you embrace it fully, everything changes. Because when you live with discipline, you don't just chase greatness, you become it. There comes a time when you stop chasing control and begin to embody it. When you stop fighting the world outside of you and begin mastering the one within. That moment doesn't come through luck. It doesn't come by waiting. It comes through a shift so powerful, so honest, that your very identity begins to change. That shift is called dominion. And once it takes root inside of you, the old version of you, the distracted, reactive, scattered version, no longer survives. Dominion is not loud. It doesn't scream. It doesn't beg for attention. It moves with quiet certainty. It is the energy of a person who no longer reacts to every emotion, every opinion, every circumstance. It is the strength of someone who has built their life not on impulse, but on intention. Someone who has risen through fire, confusion, and chaos, and stood tall in the storm, not because they avoided it, but because they learned how to navigate it. To live in dominion is to live deliberately. It is to walk into each day as the author, not the audience. Most people live like leaves in the wind, blown by distractions, opinions, cravings, and fears. But the one who claims dominion lives like the wind itself, directed, focused, intentional, full of invisible force and grounded power. You don't get there by accident. You don't stumble into dominion. You step into it one decision at a time. The first layer of dominion is mastery over your habits, because habits are the architecture of your life. They shape your identity. They sculpt your outcomes. You will never rise higher than the systems you submit to. And the truth is, you already have habits. The only question is, do they serve you or do they sabotage you? Every day, you're either reinforcing your greatness or reinforcing your limits. You don't have to shout your goals if your habits whisper them with consistency. Small actions, repeated daily, compound into extraordinary results. Waking up early, feeding your body with discipline, feeding your mind with truth, protecting your energy, keeping your word to yourself. These aren't just tasks. They are declarations of self-respect. Each time you repeat a habit that aligns with your higher self, you cast a vote for the person you are becoming, and dominion belongs to those who refuse to be ruled by chaos. But habits alone aren't enough. Dominion also means mastery over your emotions. That doesn't mean you suppress them, it means you own them. Most people are emotional slaves. Up when things are good, down when things are tough, constantly pulled in every direction by what they feel in the moment. But emotions are not instructions, they are signals. You don't need to fight them, but you must lead them. When fear shows up, you don't have to obey. When anger burns, you don't have to react. When doubt creeps in, you don't have to retreat. The one who has dominion knows how to feel without drowning, how to experience emotion without becoming it. They let emotions rise, observe them, learn from them, but never surrender to them. There's a stillness in that kind of power, a grounded presence. And people feel it when you walk into a room. You don't have to say a word, your energy already speaks. Because true power doesn't need to prove itself, it simply is. Imagine waking up each day knowing that no matter what happens, you have command over how you respond. You don't spiral, you don't collapse, you don't leak energy through overthinking or overreacting. You stay centered, composed, and clear. That's dominion. And it's not built in a day. It's forged in 1,000 moments when you could have lost yourself but chose to stay aligned. The final layer of dominion is the direction of your life, the path you walk, the vision you protect. Most people drift. They move without meaning. They copy trends, follow noise, and settle for distractions dressed as dreams. But when you have dominion, you stop running in circles and start moving in alignment. You define success on your terms. You walk your own path, not the one others handed you, not the one fear tries to keep you on, but the one your soul knows is right. This requires clarity, ruthless clarity, because without it, life will drown you in options. Every distraction will look like an opportunity. Every detour will feel like a direction. But clarity is your compass. It is the decision to say, this is what I want, this is who I'm becoming, and this is what I will no longer tolerate. And once you make that decision, your life begins to organize itself around it. People will notice the shift. Not everyone will celebrate it. Because when you move in dominion, you become untouchable in ways that threaten those who are still ruled by insecurity. You will lose some people. Let them go. You will break some patterns. Let them fall. Because you can't claim your throne while still entertaining the things that once kept you small. This is not the path of the crowd. It is the path of the called. You're not here to merely exist. You're here to reign, not over others, but over yourself, your thoughts, your actions, your time, your choices, your energy. Dominion is not domination. It's discipline. It's dignity. It's deciding that you will not live one more day as a victim of your lower nature. You are done being driven by impulse, emotion, and fear. You are done letting doubt narrate your story. You are done being distracted from your deeper purpose. When you have dominion, your environment doesn't define your standard. You bring your standard into every environment. You don't wait for perfect conditions. You create them. You don't hope to be lucky. You prepare to be ready. You don't beg for approval. You give yourself permission. And when life tests you, and it will, you don't break. You bend, you adapt, you evolve, because you are not just reacting to life, you are directing it. You stop wasting energy on things you can't control. You stop chasing people who can't see your value. You stop explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. You begin to operate from alignment, not attachment, from truth, not tension. You simplify, you refine, you focus. And what once felt impossible now becomes inevitable, not because it's easy, but because you are unwavering. The person who walks in dominion is not someone who never feels tired or afraid. It is someone who has learned to master their state, who knows how to get back to center, how to renew their mind, how to command their energy. They don't depend on external motivation. They operate from an internal standard. There's no need to force it. When you live in dominion, effort becomes elegance, flow returns. Excellence is natural. You begin to realize that success isn't something you chase, it's something you align with. Peace isn't something you find, it's something you create. Power isn't something you demand, it's something you become. That's dominion. It's internal, invisible, but undeniable. And once you taste it, you will never again surrender it for comfort, distraction, or temporary emotion. Dominion is the byproduct of total ownership. It is what happens when you stop blaming and start building, when you stop wishing and start working, when you stop doubting and start deciding. There is no finish line. This is not a destination. It is a way of life. A standard you commit to and uphold, not once, but daily. You are not your past. You are not your failures. You are not your emotions. You are the observer, the decider, the leader of your life, but you must act like it. You must walk like it. You must speak like it. Every step, every breath, every decision must reflect the truth that you are no longer waiting to be chosen. You have chosen yourself. And when you live this way, when you claim this kind of power, you don't just change your life, you change your legacy. You become a force, not just for yourself, but for everyone watching. You show others what's possible when you stop living small and start living in sovereignty. That's what the world needs now. Not more noise, not more ego, but more people fully alive, fully aligned, and fully responsible for their power. Your life is not a game. Your future is not a gamble. Your gift is not meant to be wasted. Rise, own it, live it. This is your time to reign.